Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel. Welcome to another live stream, Chelsea news update, and your match preview for the Aston Villa game tomorrow. And as always, guys, when you don't get much, when your luck's down, your luck's down. And today, another 2 injuries confirmed on the injury list for Chelsea. It seems to be 2 a week at this point. Every Friday, it seems to be another 2 names added to the list. This week, it's Raheem Sterling and Carney Chukwuemeka back on the injury list. Cole Palmer obviously back fit again after illness, which is a plus, but obviously no Chukwuemeka, no Sterling now. And that makes it 12 players missing for tomorrow's game against Aston Villa. That's right. 12 players out. Which is quite remarkable, really, quite remarkable. It really is. And yeah, I think I'm kind of just lost for words with with the state of everything medically at the club right now. It's an absolute shambles what's going on there in terms of injuries and players suffering, you know, reoccurrences of injuries that they were supposedly meant to have recovered from. Yeah, it's beggars belief. We're going to dive into all that. We're obviously looking ahead to the Aston Villa game. We're going to go through the press conference from Pochettino this afternoon. We've got Enzo Fernandez has had his surgery. He's put a little message on Instagram. We're going to dive into that. Pochettino actually revealing that he's not spoken to the owners for the last 2 months in a face-to-face aspect. So that I don't know if that's interesting or not. And there's also news that apparently Christopher Nkunku attempted to train this week, but he was sent back in. So yeah, that doesn't seem to be going particularly well either. So yeah, at this point, guys, there's not an awful lot of positivity around the club right now. There's not an awful lot of positives to discuss, other than the fact that, you know, there's only 6 games left, and then we can reset in the summer. But big up to everyone that's locked in. Make sure you smash the likes, guys. Subscribe if you're new around here, all that good stuff. We're about 13 or 14 subs away from 8.6k. So yeah, if anyone's locked in now and you're not subscribed, make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you're smashing the likes, getting those up to 50. Plenty to dive into today, as always. Gone a bit earlier today on a Friday afternoon. Notice that, you know, yeah, Fridays people tend to have better things to do with themselves than watch me on YouTube. So yeah, we're going a little bit earlier. See if that makes a difference to the old Friday numbers. But yeah, big up to everyone that's locked in. Let's have a look what people are saying. No wonder James Colwell. No wonder Nkunku, Colwell, James. They don't want to come back. No, I think we're going to dive into this, but I think it's unfair to say it's the manager injuring them. But at this point, it has to be some sort of issue, because not very many players are getting injured in matches. A lot of these injuries seem to be picked up in training, and that unfortunately is the responsibility of the manager and the coaching staff. So yeah, I'm at a loss to explain what's going on. But for Cole Palmer for Chelsea Player of the Year, yeah, it's a no-brainer. No one else comes close. Hopefully we'll see a good, fully fit Enzo next season. I hope so as well, mate. I hope so as well. Yes, all good, mate. All good. Hope you're well. Yep, 12 first-team players missing tomorrow. It's an absolute shambles. Again, totally untrue. Totally untrue. There's this perception that people think we're better without Enzo. I'm not really sure where it's come from. I don't think Badiashile will start tomorrow. I would expect the Sassy to start at right back. We're going to dive into all that. Yes, big up. Do I have faith in Chelsea doing something next season? Not particularly, but let's hope so. It depends. There will be again more change in the summer with personnel. No doubt about it. But I don't think in terms of Mudryk, I've not heard or seen anything with that would suggest that there's plans to loan him out. A lot of money was spent on him. I think the club fully believe in him. So yeah, I would expect him to still be here next season. I really would. What's the point of the summer? They said the model won't be changing. Look, I don't know. I think in terms of a full, maybe in terms of a full-time change, possibly not. But I think there is a willingness to maybe add some experience to it. And some of the names that we're being linked with would suggest that that could well be the case. But I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, I'd like to maintain a tiny bit of faith that we might actually do the right thing. Like more like a whole coach staff and set up. Yep, Champions League semi-final tomorrow. No, I haven't done that. Yeah, a lot of them have. Yeah, but generally speaking, like, yes, this is not a new thing this season. Absolutely agree. Not a new thing this season. But what we need to realize is that without fail now, 2 players per week are being added to the injury list. That is not normal. That is absolutely not normal. It's scandalous what's going on in terms of these injuries. The fact that players are doing their rehab, coming back, and then suffering reoccurrences of the same injury that they were out for X amount of months with in the first place is absolutely baffling. Absolutely baffling. I don't know. Look, I think there's some players for sure that don't look up to the standard. I don't think I look at any and think, oh God, he's absolutely shocking. But there's probably some that will leave. I think Broja will obviously leave in the summer. But I don't look at any of these guys and think, do you know what? You are utter shit, and we need to get rid. I don't get that feeling. I look at players and I see talent there, I see ability there, but I see I see them not being able to do that on a consistent basis, maybe lacking confidence. Fundamentally, I don't think we've signed poor footballers. We've just signed a lot of players with a lack of experience. And when you've got that situation where there's no senior pros to learn from, you're very much learning on the job. That's difficult. But I don't think we've signed. I haven't looked at any of the signings and thought, yeah, that's a terrible player we've signed. Look, we can moan about the age and we can moan about the experience factor for sure. I get that, but in terms of quality, when we've looked at the players that have come in, the vast majority of them, I personally haven't had that much with an issue with. I haven't thought, oh God, why are we signing him? He's awful. I haven't had that vibe. Gallagher Costello better in a double pivot. I don't think it's better. I mean, you have to look at the level of opposition it's been against. You also have to factor in the fact that Enzo Fernandez has been playing through a groin issue for the best part of 6 months, having painkilling injections before games. That affects your performance levels 100%. I think they just make up these injuries. I don't know. I think the injury list is something that 100% next season needs to stop. It needs to stop because it's just getting ridiculous. I mean, what purpose is it serving? I'm really not sure. Yeah, I remember that. I remember that time. It was meant to be about 6 weeks, and that must have been what 3 or 4 months ago. It's crazy. Pointless changing manager in the summer unless. Yeah, no, I agree. The biggest thing for Chelsea this summer, the biggest sign they can make outside of a centre forward, is competent sporting directors. Otherwise, yes, the manager, I've said many times, has been nowhere near good enough this season. But ultimately, with the club set up the way it is, the structure, the hierarchy, the recruitment policy, there's a ceiling for me to how well any manager can do in this environment and in this set of circumstances. There is a ceiling as to how well you can do. And for me, the sporting directors have got to change, and there's got to be some leeway with the recruitment model as well. I don't know, but we need to address it as quickly as possible. We 100% need to address it as quickly as possible because we cannot continue like this. We absolutely cannot continue like this. It's been like this all season. It's honestly a joke. But look, actually, I want to bring something up on the screen. I think CFC Daily did something in terms of how many players that we've had missing at various stages of the season. I think this must have taken quite a while. Has he deleted it? Hopefully not. about how many injuries we've had. Yeah, this is it here. Let me just bring it up on the screen now. It's honestly, when you see it, people, it is mad. Absolutely mad. So this here, right, this is all the way up until this was up till the Arsenal game. So we had 6 out against Liverpool, 7, 9, 9, 9, 9, 9. Look at all these players. We haven't had less than 6 players missing from a match all season. That is remarkable. It's now 12 for Aston Villa. I don't know. I don't know how many it was against Arsenal, but it was 10 against Arsenal. 12 against Villa. Like, you look at the numbers there of the amount of players that we have had out injured for each match day this season. That's not normal. That is not normal at all. The number of players on the injury report every single week is an absolute shambles. Absolute shambles. I don't understand how all these injuries are happening. I don't know what we're doing at the training ground. I don't know what's going on away from the training ground. If players doing extra work, I mean, with external coaches, I'm not sure. But for me, this fundamentally has to come down to what is happening on the training pitch, because we're actually picking up very few injuries in matches. You know, you look at games this season, and very rarely are players going off with injuries. Yeah, of course, there's been a few, but the bulk of these injuries are all happening. Are all happening at they're all happening at the training ground. They're all happening at the training ground, which is a madness, absolute madness. Pochettino now finally pushing and planting seeds, but I can't see them changing or moderating the project. I'd like to think that there'd be some willingness to accept that we've made a mistake here and we need to adjust the course that we're heading down. But I haven't seen these owners, I haven't seen anything from this ownership to suggest that they're willing to learn from their mistakes, accept they've made mistakes, and try and correct the course of action. I haven't seen that. I thought my prediction as well, if I said 20 injuries average per week, I mean, yeah, there's a little bit less than that. But the fact that we haven't, that, you know, we've been without, 9, 10, 11 players most weeks of the season is outrageous, absolutely outrageous. I mean, this week, right? You know, it seems every week we can make an 11 out of injured players. Let's have a look at this week's injury 11. Where is it? Let me bring it up. Because this week we've got a new injury 11, which isn't actually that bad. It's actually pretty good. Let me find it. This week's injury 11. Because a lot of these players, I would almost say 6 or 7, you could say are genuine starters. Are genuine starters. But let's wait and see. I know there was an injury 11 that's gone now. Why is that gone? Let me see if I can find it. But yeah, it's absolutely mad, the situation. The situation we're in with these injuries. And I did have an injury 11 somewhere up on the screen, but I can't find it now. If I do find it, I'll bring it back up. But yeah, there's at least 7 or 8 starters in there. You're looking at Reece James, Romeo Lavia, Wesley Fofana, Ben Chilwell would probably be a starter. You're looking at Christopher Nkunku, Reece James, Enzo. There's 7 or 8 players missing that would probably be starters. But I mean, let's look at the injury list. I know we shouldn't really, but yeah, let's do it. I'm going to bring it up on the screen now, because it is. I know we know there's 12 out, but when you actually go through the list, it's not just 12 players missing. It's a lot of these players would be starters. Levi Colwell, you would say, would be a starter. Reece James, starter. Nkunku, starter. Enzo Fernandez, starter. Ben Chilwell, probably starter. Malo Gusto, starter. Wesley Fofana, starter. And Romeo Lavia, you could argue, would be a starter as well. That's 8 starters, right? So 12 players out. 8 of those players, you could argue, would be in and around, would be starting, or definitely one of the first couple of choices off the bench. How to deal with that is a madness, is an absolute madness. Colwell's been injured for weeks, by the way, months even. It's staggering, absolutely staggering. What's also staggering, by the way, guys, is there's over 50 of you in the building. There's only 16 likes. What's going on here, people? What is going on here? 51 in the building, 16 likes. Smash that thumbs up button. It's free. It takes seconds to do. Make sure you do it and run these likes up, because that conversion rate is really, really piss poor. It's Friday. It's end of the week. The likes are really important. It helps boost the content in the algorithm, get more eyes on the channel, push us further up the old YouTube space. And that's what we're looking for. So one click of that thumbs up button would be absolutely fantastic. That would be great. So please do that. But let me see if I can zoom in on this picture a bit more, because that's looking a little bit blurry. No, it's not going to go much bigger than that. But yeah, you just see it there. The names, 12 names on that list. It is a problem, a massive issue. And yeah, I don't know what the answer is, because whatever we're doing, nothing's changing. Maybe we're not doing anything and we're just going to hope it corrects itself, which evidently it isn't. So yeah, I'm at a loss to explain what's going on medically right now. I really don't understand it. Yes, we can go on about medical departments. We can go on about training. Are players looking after themselves? Is there too much? Is there too much gym work? Is there not enough gym work? It's very strange. How about contrasting? I was just looking at the players who have been. I mean, there's hardly any. There's literally Cole Palmer. Disasi is missed only a couple games. Cole Palmer, Disasi, and Conor Gallagher. Caicedo's not been too bad either, but generally speaking, other than those four or five, most of the players have spent a spell of time out on the treatment table this season. That's mad, absolutely mad. In terms of Raheem Sterling, apparently Pochettino has confirmed that Raheem Sterling is being assessed for lower back pain, which is impacting his mobility. I mean, maybe that's why he was so dreadful when he came on against Arsenal from the bench. Relatively minor issue, but one that requires rest to take the pressure off his back. I mean, we say relatively minor. It's relatively minor. Oh no, Nicholas Jackson's has been all right as well. Yeah, but look, relatively minor at Chelsea probably means instead of missing 5 months, you might miss 3. So yeah, look, maybe Sterling will be back for the Spurs game. I mean, at this point, the one thing I'd always say, right, with injuries and Chelsea is what we have to look at. Were players picking up a lot of injuries before they came? If they weren't, then it's the player. And if they suddenly picking up injuries at Chelsea, it would suggest it's the club. And if they leave Chelsea and they stop picking up injuries, then it's the club. And right now, the evidence we have is pretty high that it is the club. Christian Pulisic, always injured at Chelsea. He's gone to AC Milan and he's hardly been injured. Hardly been injured at all. What's that about? What is that about? Loftus-Cheek's barely been injured at AC Milan as well. Just to name 2, a number of players have left Chelsea where they were injured quite regularly and have gone to their new clubs and are hardly injured, suggesting the club is the problem. You've got players that have arrived that have had very minimal injury histories and now suddenly picking up injuries left, right, and centre at Chelsea. For me, it's the club. You have to look into the injury record of certain players, but right now, I don't think we have signed a load of injury-prone players. It's what we're doing, our methods, our techniques at the training ground, which are fundamentally causing these issues. I mean, Chukwuemeka is a really odd one because he was on the bench on Tuesday. Maybe he was injured and he was on the bench, and maybe they just put him on to fill it. But then why would you not just fill it with an academy player? Kind Chukwuemeka has had a reoccurrence of the knee injury he suffered in August against West Ham. How has that happened? The brothers barely played. He was an unused sub against Arsenal. I think he did he play against Everton? Did he play? He didn't come off. He didn't come off the bench against Man City. I think he played in the 6-0 win against Everton, but I think he made an appearance from the bench there. But Chukwuemeka's barely played. So where's this reoccurrence of this knee injury come from? And then that was a bad knee injury, by the way, as well. He spent a long time on the sidelines. So I don't understand where this is. Where is this reoccurred? This injury. We know Gusto's out as well. I don't understand. Like Sterling and Chukwuemeka have barely played since you know for the last couple of games. Where are these injuries coming from? And how on earth does this keep happening? 12 players out. You know, it's amazing. I mean, these Chukwuemeka injuries it's becoming really annoying. Why can't this be sorted? Like, he's not playing, yet he's still getting injured. How can you play no football and be getting injured? It's mad. It's absolutely mad. They're not though. Most of the injuries aren't from last season. You know, the only person that was injured last season heading into this season, I think, was Badia Shil, and he picked up that groin injury or hamstring injury, sorry, at Bournemouth away under Frank Lampard. Other than that, I'm pretty sure everyone else's injuries have been this season. We absolutely can't go into next season like this. I don't know. I'm not. Pochettino says the academy guys are close. If I'm being honest, I don't think he's not ready to trust them. I also feel like, in slight defense to the manager, when you're under pressure and you're struggling, like, it's very hard to sort of take the gamble to chuck an academy player in. But at this point, how could it really be any worse? I don't think it could be. Reece was injured. Reece did get injured last season, but Reece has also missed the whole of this season. This is a totally different management, and coaching staff. No, I don't think so. You can level a lot of stuff at these players, but I don't get the feeling that they're ones that would want to shy away from playing. I absolutely don't think that. Mate, it's literally, I don't know for however many weeks, it's literally been 2 per week for the last God knows how many weeks. Every Friday press conference that comes, there's another 2 names on the list. No, Nkunku's not fit. He's been doing a little bit of training. I think he's been taking parts in. He's been what they call partial. He's been in partial team training. He's maybe getting closer, but not really that close. Yes, big up. No, look, I get it that some of their bodies might not be fully developed, but look, not every single young player is picking up injuries like the young players are at Chelsea. It's very strange. It has to be a I don't think it's not a medical team issue, because medical team would be like, to a degree, you could blame medical team with players breaking down after coming back from injury. But in terms of players getting injured, that's got nothing to do with the medical team. That's to do with the training and the coaching staff. It's as simple as that. Of course, sometimes you can get bad luck with injuries, but this is happening way too often and way too frequently for it to be bad luck. Yeah, run it up, guys. Run it up. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Thumbs up button. 64 in the building. 33 likes. Get this to 50 as quickly as possible, guys. As quickly as possible. Fofana was pre-season, did his ACL. There's so many things coming in. But yeah, Lavia and Nkunku have been huge losses this season. There's absolutely no denying that. But yeah, with Chukwuemeka, it's so frustrating because with Enzo out, he would have been set for a run in the team. So, yeah, it's a real problem. It's a real problem. I don't understand it, because what type of injuries are these? Because he comes back, he plays about half a game, and then he misses the next 3. And then it's just kind of been a rinse and repeat cycle with Carney on and off pretty much the whole season. Chukwuemeka injured his knee, in at West Ham, back in August on his own. And then, injuries are complex. Of course they are. But I don't understand how this keeps reoccurring. Reoccurrence of the knee injury suffered against West Ham. Well, that knee injury was pretty serious. So does that mean he's not going to be playing again this season? I've got no idea. Absolutely no idea. I'm not really sure. I mean, felt pain in his knee related to his previous problem, but how has that knee pain suddenly come back when he's played well? He played against Leicester and whatnot. I don't understand it. I'm just like, it's just like a complete and utter loss. And yes, we should be doing better with what we've got at our disposal that goes out on the pitch. But tell me a team that's missing 7-8 starters per week for pretty much the whole season that wouldn't be struggling. That's why I do have a little bit of sympathy with the manager, because of all the players that have been unavailable. We would be looking like a totally different team if we'd even have half these players available. It's like, I get it, every club has injuries and they go through difficult spells with players missing, but the fact that this has been going on all season, the fact it's been key starting players as well, it's just a madness. It's an utter madness. Look, I'm not saying he should be sold. It's obviously not his fault, but when these injuries keep recurring, it's a problem. It is a problem. Yes, big up to the Dearest Devil for the super chat. Greatly appreciated. Hope you're doing well, brother. Hope you're doing well. Chukwuemeka's a good player. I really enjoy watching him. He's a good player. There's ability there. He makes a difference. But ultimately, like with any player, if you cannot keep yourself fit, doesn't matter how good you are, you're useless. You're useless to the team if you're constantly unavailable. Let's hope so. There should be a financial fair play clause when a club can count these injuries against your total. I mean, unfortunately, it doesn't work like that, and I don't think it ever will work like that. But yeah, it would be helpful, wouldn't it? It would be helpful, guys. Let's be honest. But look, whoever's in charge next season, this needs to be got to the bottom of. We cannot go into another season picking up the volume of injuries we're getting, the reoccurrence of the injuries we're getting, and then the seriousness of the injuries as well. We're not just getting knocks missing 1 or 2 games. Anyone that gets injured at Chelsea is out for a month minimum, and a month estimation often ends up at 2 or 3. It's mad. He did have surgery on the knee. Yeah, but what I mean is, though, it can't have been rehabbed that poorly, because he did come back and he played, and he was making a difference. So, yeah, I really don't know what's going on. But yeah, anyway, there's loads of stuff coming in. Yeah, and this is what I mean. When people say it's the medical department, this has been spanning across 3 different managers, 2 different medical departments, completely different players as well. And this is still happening, which to me suggests is a fundamental issue with what we're doing at the football club. And it must be on the training ground. On the training ground, in the gym, not in the gym. I don't know if players getting injured at home or what's happening. There needs to be a deep dive on player rehab, as well as them being rushed back into high intensity training. Yeah, I mean, I don't know what's going on, but for Carney, it is a real shame, because there was an opportunity now with Enzo Fernandez ruled out for the rest of the season for him to come into the team and have a good run in the side, something that he's not been able to do through injury. And now that opportunity's gone. So yeah, it's just so frustrating, because I think we all would have loved to have seen him, get a run of games and finish the season strongly, because there is undoubted ability with Carney, but we just unfortunately are not going to be able to see it. But yeah, so that's obviously the latest on Chukwuemeka. Raheem Sterling's obviously got a problem with his lower back, and apparently Christopher Nkunku, which this is a bit of a concern. He's just basically been injured all season, pretty much. This is quite a reliable journalist who's pretty good with all things Chelsea. Chelsea's injury list is just incredible. Literally every week someone has to be injured. Told earlier this week, Nkunku attempted to train but was sent back in. Yeah, kind of just seems fairly standard. Kind of seems fairly standard at this point in time now that, players are just going to be going to try and train, and then they're going to be sent back in because they can't manage it. I don't know what the answer is, but a thorough investigation needs to be carried out ASAP. Absolutely ASAP. At the end of the season, or it should be underway now, and we should be gathering our findings as the season progresses, as the season draws to a close. It really should. Yeah, Fofana's been pretty much injured non-stop, on and off for 2 years. He missed the whole of this season, missed large chunks of last season as well. Thing is, though, when he plays, he's a talented boy, really talented boy. But yeah, Nkunku, look, don't even bother attempting to come back this season. Do what you need to do. Get ready for the pre-season, and we start again next season, and we go from there. Because right now, it's no point anyone that's been out for a long time injured trying to rush back for the final 4 or 5 games of the season, where it's really it's bordering on pointless. So yeah, let's get rid of those people. Let's get rid of them until the summer, and then they can obviously come in and start again next season. I think that's the way we've got to go. But Nkunku, again, would have been a guaranteed starter for us, would have been one of our main players, and, has barely played all season. Very, very problematic. But such is life, and this is where we are right now. But it has 100% got to be addressed, because it simply can't continue. Actually, the fault is not from the coach, but from the players themselves. No, it's not. Look, ultimately, when this many injuries are occurring, you have to look at what's happening on the training pitch, because most of these injuries are occurring in training. Why are players constantly breaking down, seemingly under these training methods? That's no, look. For me personally, I wouldn't be in a rush to get Reece back. Absolutely wouldn't be in a rush to get him back. Take as long as you need. We've got Gusto doing the business. I mean, obviously he's injured now, but yeah. I just thought I'd go through that. Obviously, sticking with the injury front very quickly. Obviously, we know that Enzo Fernandez underwent his surgery on a hernia issue. He obviously posted a picture to his Instagram today. Surgery's gone well. With a message to Chelsea fans. I wanted to let you know that my operation was successful. Everything went well, thank God. I needed to get this surgery since I've been dragging the pain for about 6 months. Mad. It was something I could avoid while constantly treating myself with injections and medications, but a few weeks ago, the pain started to get more and more intense without any of this taking effect. And it was worse as I trained and played annoyingly, but I didn't want to stop being in the games I had. Whenever I go to play with the Chelsea jersey, like the national team, I always try to do my best despite all this, but I can't stand it anymore. Thank you for the messages, encouragement, and your token of love always. Shout out to everyone. I promise you, I'm coming back stronger than ever. Take good care of yourselves. The fact that Enzo was playing through this problem for 6 months, yeah, we do have training methods, but they're clearly not working very well, because players are constantly breaking down and getting injured. It's very problematic. But yeah, Enzo, putting himself through pain to try and help our cause for 6 months is admirable. You can tell that he's not looked right for a number of weeks. And obviously, now that you hear that he's said that he's been playing with this issue for 6 months, it kind of makes sense as to why some of his performances have been under par. There's no denying that. Who was bought that was already injured? But because I can't think who was signed that was injured. I can't remember. Nkunku wasn't. Lavia, I don't think. Lavia might have been signed with a slight injury problem, but other than that, a lot not. I mean, Fofana wasn't signed injured. Lavia seems to be the only one that springs to mind on that. But yeah, Enzo, playing through for 6 months with that level of injury problem is I would say it's admirable, but also surely someone at the club should have said, look, I know you want to play, but go and get this sorted out. And he could have been helping us for the last 6 games of the season. I'm not sure why they've waited so long. The club must have been aware of this. He was going away with national team duty and obviously playing through this problem as well. So yeah, he's had the surgery, come back, obviously rest, recuperate. You've got the Copa America in the summer. He broke his leg at Leicester. That's bad luck. It was a dreadful challenge that broke his leg. That's not being a broken leg is not being injury prone. That's for sure. Yeah, possibly. But yeah, obviously good that he's done, and then just rest up, recuperate, come back when you're ready, and we go from there. Yeah, I mean, terrible luck with injuries, absolutely terrible luck. Enzo Fernandez has undergone his surgery and he's going to be back soon. Yeah, they did it with some specialists in America. I'm not really sure why, but ultimately it seems like that hasn't really made an awful lot of difference. Yeah, Nkunku had an injury where he missed the World Cup, but generally speaking, at Leipzig, he was available most of the time. Obviously, that last season he was there. He wasn't available as much. He did win the Golden Boot, though. He got 16 goals. There would have been a lot more if he'd stayed fit. But yeah, let's throw this forward as well, though, guys, because obviously Pochettino in a press conference as well today saying that he's not spoken to the owners for 2 months. Now, normally, I don't think that's that abnormal. But I suppose with this being a new ownership and stuff, maybe being more regular contact. It's like, to be honest, in the last few months, we didn't speak face to face. We communicate through the sporting directors. My views and feelings have not changed despite not crossing paths. The last face to face we know of was when Badal Eghbali, the evening after Chelsea's Carabao Cup final defeat to Liverpool in February, was with Eghbali, in February after the Carabao Cup. The pair met in central London following the game at Wembley. I think because we're struggling and we're not doing well, this is perhaps being made into a bigger thing than it actually is. So yeah, look, I don't think as a manager you need to constantly be meeting the owners face to face. You really don't. I'd imagine most managers go large chunks of the season without seeing the owners face to face. Yes, there'll be communication, but like I don't see it as a major. I don't see it as a major issue that there's not been any face to face communication for a couple of months. It's a strange one. I mean, it's one of them things. Like if we're doing well, then no one's bothered and no one's mentioning it. So yeah, I just hope that the owners have gone away. They're actioning what the managers told them to do. What the fans have been saying is ultimately what the manager's been saying. They're going away. They're actioning it, and they're trying to get shit done, because right now, what we're doing and the path that we're going down is not working. Simply not working, guys. And we need to find out. We need to find out why that is. I mean, look, the Arsenal was awful. Somehow we still can qualify for the Europa League. We're not a million miles away. So there is still stuff to play for. But yeah, there very much sort of is the feeling the season is petering out into nothing. I don't think many people are expecting us to pick results up. But yeah, I'll assess the season when it's actually finished. But yeah, of course, it's been nowhere near the levels anyone was expecting. End of the season it will be taken. I mean, obviously, if we lose tomorrow, it depends in the manner of the loss if we were to lose. But yeah, no, I think final decision will be taken at the end of the season, and then we'll move from there. We need some experience. Yeah, we do. The the only way possible for Europa is if City win the FA Cup and we finish. No, 5th and 6th gets Europa League anyway. So if United were to win the FA Cup and they finished 6th, it means that 7th would get Europa League. I think that's how it works. I ultimately I think Pochettino will end up staying. That would be my bet on it right now. But who knows? Who knows? Yeah, I would say that we need to be basically we need 5 wins from 6 pretty much, and that's going to be that's going to be pretty tough to do. Pretty tough to do. We're going to have to rely on teams in and around us to drop points, which I think they will. Which I think they will do. Yeah, the coefficient's not looking great for us. Mathematically, it's still possible with the coefficient, but yeah, it's looking very much against us right now. What players wise? Well, I haven't really thought about managers because there's no obvious candidates. We can't replace Silva and Gallagher with 18-year-olds. No, I absolutely agree on that front. But yeah, look, ultimately on this not having a face-to-face meeting for 2 months, I don't really think that's a big deal. They've still been in contact through the sporting directors. I don't really see it as a big deal. And as I said, if we were doing well and the results on the pitch were good, and this was the case, no one would be saying anything. These sort of things get heightened and put under a microscope when you're not doing well. If the guarantee, if you went around the other 20 Premier League clubs and asked the managers when they'd last spoken to the owners face to face, you probably get similar answers. And in some cases, you'd get answers where it had been a longer period of time since that had happened. Do you think they'll get a 10? Well, we don't need a 10 because we've got Christopher and Nkunku. Cole Palmer can play there. Chukwuemeka can play there. We don't need another number 10. If Chelsea gets Europa League, Chelsea can play their B team. Well, we can rotate, yeah. The club failed Poch, albeit unknowingly, with a bunch of injured players and thinking their projects. Yeah. No, I agree. Look, Pochettino's not done well enough, but then also he's not really been given the tools to be able to do as well as he would have liked. That's ultimately the reality. I'll believe it when I see it. Is the answer to that? I'll believe it when I see it. In theory, there's not really anything wrong with having an age policy if you do, but you've got to make sure you recruit the right players, and it's clear that we haven't done that. It's about time people stopped hyping up De Zerbi. No, I don't think I like De Zerbi. I think he's good. Do I believe he's as good as people make him out to be? No, I don't. But there is an argument to be made that with better personnel, that he would do better. It's very hard to keep building a team when you're losing your best players every summer. We need 2 number 9s to keep Jackson at left wing. We're not going to get 2 number 9s. Europa League has really increased in prestige. Yeah, I think it has to a degree. I mean, it's always been respected on the continent. It's always been England that's looked down and kind of sneered on the Europa League. But on the continent, it has generally always been respected. But yeah, look, this face-to-face meeting thing, I really don't see it as a big deal whatsoever. What else has Poch been saying? Obviously, had some stuff about motivation as well. And look, I'd like to hope that the players aren't lacking motivation to play for the club. Well, 2 things. One, we wouldn't be able to afford both of them. Isak, I don't think is going to leave at all. Ivan Toney is obviously the one that I'd be looking at. I'd like to think that we would be looking at making a move from it. I think it's a move that absolutely makes the most sense. But ultimately, I think if I had to hazard a guess as to where what striker we're going to end up with, I honestly think we're going to end up with either Victor Gyökeres or more likely Benjamin Sesko. That's my prediction as to who we might end up with is Gyökeres or Sesko, and I don't really know how I feel about that. Gyökeres, I'd be more happier with. Sesko has got ability, but he's 20 years of age and he's had one season in the Bundesliga. Yes, he's played in the Champions League and whatnot, but yeah, do I think we win tomorrow? No, probably not. Who knows? Who knows? But ultimately, I think, I suspect that Pochettino will be here next season. Is my honest opinion on the matter. I think he'll be here next season. That's how I'm viewing it. But yeah, in terms of Poch today, saying for me, it's a really important 6 games left. The players need to feel the same. It is really important to finish in a good way. Of course, the Arsenal disappointment is massive. Aston Villa is doing a fantastic season. But we are Chelsea. We are. Nice mentality. If we are responsible to motivate the players, wow, it's difficult to accept. If you ask me if we need to motivate the players for tomorrow, we have a big problem. I don't believe that's the problem. The problem is the capacity to perform. I would agree. I don't see these players as lacking motivation. I just see that they're not capable of performing to a good standard. On a consistent basis. That's what we're lacking, the consistency. I don't look at this and think we struggle with motivation. I certainly don't look at the players and get the sense that they're not up for it. I think this group are young, this group are hungry, and this group want to play for the club and they want to be successful. So yeah, maybe that's the scenario. Maybe that's the scenario. I'm not sure, but yeah, I don't know, guys. You shouldn't if you're having as a coaching staff having to motivate players, then that really is a big issue, a really big issue. There's no escaping how big an issue that is if you're having to motivate playing staff. I'd be majorly concerned if that was the case. I'd be very, very concerned. But yeah, look, there's no denying this is. Yeah, I think I'd rather it was Chalobah, to be honest, at right back. But yeah, Gusto's still out. Yeah, it's obviously a massive game tomorrow, huge game. Look, we went to Villa Park before under huge pressure in that FA Cup semi-final replay, and we pulled a performance out of nowhere that no one was expecting, one of our best performances of the season, and played Villa off the park. I'm not saying we're going to do that tomorrow, but the one thing with this Chelsea side is you don't know what you're going to get. You beat Everton 6-0 one week, you lose 5-0 to Arsenal the next, and then you might go and beat Aston Villa the one after that. So you don't know what you're going to get, but ultimately, with the 12 players that are out, the form that we're in, the confidence we've got at the moment, the fact that Aston Villa have got themselves back playing well again after a small little blip in and around playing us in the FA Cup, these are all things that are pointing to a difficult evening for us. It really is as simple as that. This is going to be a difficult evening, tough place to go. They've got very, very good players. Yes, Cole Palmer being back is a massive plus for us, huge plus for us. But it's going to take more than Cole Palmer for us to get a result. Villa aren't one game away from the Champions League because Spurs have got 2 or 3 games in hand on them. So Villa aren't one game away from the Champions League. Problem with Poch as he waffles in these press conferences, the tactics and personnel being played are also a big issue. Yep, I absolutely agree on that front. Look, I don't know. The back 5 suits that our players that we've got defensively. Attacking wise, though, the back 5 leaves us with a bit of a problem because you play Palmer, Jackson, and then who do you play? Look. Back, I don't know if the back 5 is the right way to go or not. I've thought about it at times this season. Should we go with a back five. I'm pretty sure actually we didn't start with a back five at Villa. I remember when we went to Villa in the FA Cup, everyone before the game, myself included, was thinking, yeah, let's go the back five. We didn't go the back five in the end, and we played pretty well. But Villa are 6 points ahead, and they've played 2 games more, so it's not over. Or they played 1 game more, or whatever. The main issue is the injuries where you go with 12, 13 players out for weeks or months. Yeah, there's no doubt about it. The circumstances have been challenging. The circumstances have absolutely been very testing. Guys, 66 in the building, 49 likes. Come on, guys, keep smashing that thumbs up button. It's free. Helps me out massively. Please do that. Do that. It's end of the week, Friday. You guys are supporting as always, which is fantastic. So yeah, please just run this up to 50 likes. 1 more like required, and let's push it towards 60, 70 likes. So yeah, make sure you're smashing that like button, guys. It's free. It takes seconds. And whilst you're at it, make sure you hit the subscribe button as well. Getting very close now to 8.6k. 13 more subscribers required. If we can get to 8,590, that'll be 3 more. That'll be fantastic. There's definitely 3 of you in it that have not smashed the like button, the subscribe button. So make sure you do that, guys. Make sure you do it. But yeah, I personally don't look at motivation as an issue with this group. I just think there's a fundamental incapability of performing to a top level on a consistent basis right now. And we need to get to the bottom of why that is. We can't just put it down to experience issues as to why we're having, when we're good, we're really, really good. When we're bad, no joke, we are literally one of the worst teams in the league. When we play badly, we do nothing right, and we are absolutely one of the worst sides in the league. On that game at the Emirates, if it wasn't us in a blue shirt, you could have thought it was Sheffield United or Burnley. The levels were that bad at the Emirates on Tuesday night. And when we're bad, we are shocking. And we need to make sure that we close the gap between our good days and our bad days, and make sure when we do have bad days, we still stay in the game and give ourselves an opportunity. Because right now, when we're bad, we're literally out the game within the first 15, 20 minutes, and it's just a long afternoon, and it's pointless. That's the reality. That's the reality of the situation, guys. Simple as that. Simple as that. Our good days aren't quite good enough, and then our bad days are absolutely horrendous. Absolutely horrendous. So yeah, that gap needs to be that gap needs to be closed. Is that true? I literally have not seen that anywhere. I haven't seen that reported anywhere at all. I haven't seen that anywhere. Let's have a quick Google. And if that was the case, I'm pretty sure they wouldn't have named the club either. This is 2 days ago. Two Premier League players aged 19 arrested over a rape claim. A club spokesperson said the team will not be making further comment at this stage. 2 teenage Premier League footballers have been arrested in connection with an alleged rape, according to reports. Police are said to have swooped on a stadium at the weekend, but only 1 player aged 19 was there. So there's a couple of 19-year-olds, and it doesn't say. I'm pretty certain it's not Chelsea, because it'll be obvious to work out. So yeah, It was Wolves, was it? Yeah, look, the story's not fake. The story's legit, but I think saying it as Chelsea is incorrect. And it's simply false. Yeah, they said home ground. So we haven't played at home. So yeah, no, it's not Chelsea. I think we can probably clear that one out. But yeah, in terms of what sort of game we're going to be expecting against Villa tomorrow, yeah, it's going to be no, yeah. I mean, he's obviously got it wrong completely on the front that it's Chelsea, because it's not. But the actual story is true. 2 Premier League players were arrested this week, but it's not Chelsea. In terms of what sort of a game we can expect, guys, I think we know exactly what Villa are going to do. They're well drilled. Unai Emery's got them playing some brilliant stuff. You know, there's no denying it. Everyone's improved. And you just that team just looks like a team that, do you know what, has been coached. Players have improved. Everyone knows their role. It doesn't matter who the personnel are. The system stays the same. And the players still deliver in the role that's been required of them. Ollie Watkins having a superb season. Moussa Diaby's been brilliant. So's Leon Bailey. Morgan Rogers, who came in January, has been fantastic. McGinn, Douglas Luiz, Tielemans in midfield, brilliant. Pau Torres and Konsa at the back and stuff. You know, they've been massive. The first goal is going to be really important. What we cannot do is start the game like we did at the Emirates and find ourselves 1-0 down in the first 5 minutes. That is what we cannot do. We've got to keep things tight at the beginning, play ourselves into the game, because if we can see the goal early, then I honestly think it's curtains for us. In that game in the FA Cup, we started the game well. We went a couple of goals ahead inside the first 20 minutes, and then we could control it from there. You know, you can't win the game in the first 15, 20 minutes, but you could absolutely lose the game in the first 15 or 20 minutes. So that is something that we need to make sure that we settle in. We're not playing dodgy passes at the back. You know, we're staying compact. We're keeping our shape. Attacking players are tracking back. You know, all that sort of thing. Yeah, Jackson seems to be playing off the left. I think, you know, I'm not a fan of Cole Palmer as a false 9. I think it just totally negates him. And actually, Palmer wasn't particularly great in that game. But yeah, I mean, there's options. We absolutely have options. That's for sure. This game can go either way for me. Either we beat Villa 3-1 or lose 3-1. Fair. No, look, I don't know. We're not on the training ground. We're not, you know, in the dugout. We're not on the pitch. There's different ways of dealing with players. And I think ultimately, the modern day footballer is very different now than they would have been 10, 15 years ago. And you have to adapt and coach and manage in a different way, because you can't get away with the same sort of things that you would be able to get away with in the past. These next 2 games are season defining, absolutely season defining. Aston Villa and Spurs. If we can come through those with 4 points, then that's a massive result from us. But to qualify for any form of Europe, we've got to win one of these games, whether it's Villa or whether it's Spurs. We have to win one of those games to keep our hopes alive of Europe. And I think even right now at this point, with 6 games left, I don't actually think we can afford to lose. We can maybe afford to lose 1 game in the remainder of the season if we want to qualify for Europe. That's my view on it. I think we can afford to lose 1 game. Otherwise, we're done. If Palmer is in a 10, I think we will win 6-0. Well, let's be honest, we're not going to win 6-0. What are your top 3? There's not even 3 candidates out there. I'd probably say, look, if we had to have someone else, I'd probably say Ruben Amorim at Sporting Lisbon. But other than that, that would be my main choice, I suppose. Other than that, there's not really any names that excite me. That's the reality. Well, you say that, but then it wouldn't be surprised if we went to Nottingham Forest and lost, went to Brighton and lost, or lost at home to Bournemouth on the final day. You know, that we've got to be honest, and we've got to be realistic with ourselves here. You know, just if we were to beat Villa and Spurs, that doesn't mean the job's done. That doesn't mean the job's done at all. Absolutely does not mean that because of how inconsistent we are. Casadei is. I don't see Casadei getting many minutes at all. If I'm being totally honest, guys, keep smashing the like button. 71 in the building, 58 likes. Let's get this up to 60. Maybe we can even push this to 70 likes. Not maybe, definitely. So keep smashing that thumbs up button. Keep hitting that subscribe button, guys. Let's keep pushing the channel from strength to strength. But it requires those things to be done from you, lovely people. So make sure you're doing it, guys. What else is coming in, guys? There's a lot coming in. I'll try and get through as much as I can. It also depends on who he plays in defence, because if we play Disasi and Badiashile again, I absolutely don't think that will be happening. I'm wondering why we're always buying or looking to buy players from overseas. Why not look at our own league? I don't know is the answer to that, but I'm all for buying for doing more business from within the Premier League. I think a lot of us are. I think a lot of people are all for that. I think a lot of people are for that. There's no doubt. We are capable of doing it, but whether we will or not, I'm not sure. Honestly, I don't think his attitude's great. I think he needs to sort that out. I think there's ability there. I think he's very good in one-on-one situations, dribbling, and whatnot. But ultimately, yeah, needs to get his head down, needs to work hard, and needs to improve his attitude, because right now he's acting like a player that's achieved a lot in the game when he's achieved absolutely nothing. I'm praying City win every game. So am I. I mean, it'll feel weird on Sunday because for the first time ever in my life, and probably the only time ever, I think Chelsea fans are going to be supporting Spurs on Sunday, which is mad. But for the greater good, it must be done. It must be done for the greater good. Yeah, Elise would be a brilliant signing at Chelsea. Sterling out, Elise in. That would be that would be great. That would be brilliant, wouldn't it? We definitely love that. These recurring injuries. I mean, I'm not saying it. I think it's hard to say it's down to the manager solely, but something's not going right with what we're doing on the training ground, and that's not just the manager. That falls under a large number of people. No, Gusto's out. Don't know how Carney's injured again. Got no idea. But yeah, let's dive into the team lineup then, because there's going to be some difficult, well, not difficult choices to make, but yeah, there's going to be a few changes from the team at Arsenal. Petrovic, I think, will definitely stay in goal. Sanchez is still injured. Petrovic, I thought, was okay against Arsenal. Definitely stopped the scoreline from being worse, but also definitely at fault for that first goal. You know, you can't be being beaten at the near post like that. So, yeah. Hopefully he can improve, but yeah, obviously he'll stay in goal. I mean, we know Disasi's going to play right back, but for me, what I would be doing is Chalobah at right back, because he's more mobile. He's going to offer you a bit more going forward, and he's better defensively in that area. I'll be going Chalobah, Silva, and Disasi. With left back, obviously, Cucurella, because I actually thought Cucurella was okay against Arsenal. That's the back four, because it has to be. There's not really any other choice. No, those yellows are now white. Arsenal was the last game they had to get through. Now those yellows are white, so they're back down to 0 bookings now. So yeah, that's not an issue at all. Not an issue at all. I'm sick of Mudryk defending. He's always out of position. Yeah, look, the wide players are not defending well. That much is absolutely clear. They are not defending well at all. And that needs to be worked on. You know, they've got to track back and help. You know, you can't just go forward and not help back the other end. Chelsea ladies to beat Barcelona at Stamford Bridge. Let's hope so. Let's hope so. No, I don't think so. Not for me. But I could be wrong. I could be wrong. We'll have to see. No choice up front either, not particularly. But yeah, that's the back line that I'm going with. Midfield, I think, it's obvious what it's going to be, and it's what I would be doing as well. And to be fair, on the few occasions that Caicedo and Gallagher have played together in midfield, it hasn't actually been that bad. It's actually been all right. So, yeah, I think it's obviously going to work well having Gallagher and Caicedo in there. I mean, again, is there something? Is this game? Would this game be looked at as too big to trust Cassidy in there? Is Cassidy a pivot player? Probably not. Yeah, I would suggest maybe Cassidy isn't a pivot player. But I'm trying to think what else you can do in there. There's no Chukwuemeka, there's no Lavia. Cassidy probably is not that role is not really right for him. So yeah, I'd say Gallagher and Caicedo in there. I think with obviously the front line with the options that we've got, unfortunately, I mean, I say unfortunately, I think it's going to be the same. I'd have Palmer play. It'll be this for me. I'll be going with the same attack that we had against Everton. Palmer centrally, Madueke down the right, and then Mudryk down the left with Nicholas Jackson. With Nicholas Jackson leading the line. I mean, you can look at other options there. People can say nothing. Ugo Chukwu's been out for bloody ages. Although he is back in partial training. Sterling's out injured. And he's not been good enough anyway. When he came off the bench, he was dreadful in that Arsenal game. So yeah, no, things have been tricky, guys. But that's the team that I'd be going with. Again, yes, Palmer has operated better off the right, but in that Everton game, when we had Mudryk and Madueke, genuine touchline wingers, they pinned those fullbacks back, and Palmer had a lot more space centrally, and it worked really well. Again, you could move Mudryk to the 10, put Madueke on the left and Palmer on the right. This three behind Jackson can be this four can be quite interchangeable. You could have a situation where it's like this at certain times. You could have a situation where it switches and it ends up being like that. They're like this front four for me, I think is very fluid and can be very interchanging. But for me personally, if I'm picking a team and I'm setting it up with the options that we've got available, I'm going for the same attack as we had against Everton. Yes, I know Aston Villa are a level up in opposition compared to us. Yeah, Everton were bad. Yeah, of course, but you still have to turn up and put that level of performance in. Just because the opposition were bad, you still have to perform on the day, and we performed outstanding on the day. He didn't say we weren't. He said he hadn't heard anything to suggest that we were. But he didn't say we absolutely weren't. So let's wait and see. Again, yeah, a lot of players have come back, and it seems to have been a long time. I don't know if maybe the club have taken a decision that actually, do you know what, just missed the whole season because there's such few games left now. I don't know if that's a conversation that's happened or not. I'm not too sure, but that's the team that I would go with. Now, bro, we can't be playing in must-win games. We can't be playing Washington as the centre forward. The kid looks like he's about 12. He needs to go on loan. Yeah, that's not for me. That would definitely be a no from me on that front, unfortunately. But yeah, I don't know. We look at this team and I think, look, there's ability there. There's goals in that team. There's chances will be created in that team. The problem is, though, is that Aston Villa's attack is quite frightening, to be honest. Ollie Watkins is in the best form of his career. Leon Bailey scoring goals. Moussa Diaby scoring goals. So is Morgan Rogers. They're very good in midfield. Defensively, they're quite good as well. I just worry about that our defence, because we've let in 57 goals, I think, this season in the league. A club record for us. Even more than last season. There's still 6 games left. We're going to concede. Honestly, I think this season we'll almost concede 70 goals in the Premier League this season. Won't be far away. It'll be around 65, but we won't be far off conceding 70 goals in the league this season. Do you know how crazy that is? Considering 20 years ago almost we conceded 15 goals in a whole season. To think 20 years later we're going to be in a situation where, in all likelihood, we're going to be very close to conceding 70 Premier League goals in a season. But yeah, I know some of you have been getting your score predictions in, guys. Get them in. Let's have it. What are you lot saying? I've got to be honest. From what I'm feeling, from what I've seen from Chelsea heading into this game, I think I think it's going to be a tough afternoon. I think it's going to be very difficult. If we can get out of there with a draw, I think we would have done very, very well if we can get out of there with a draw. Personally, for me, I think there's goals in this game for sure. Villa score goals, we score goals, we let goals in. Villa tend to concede a few goals, not on our level, but for me personally, guys, I think this could be a 2-2 draw. I think it could be a 2-2 draw. I just feel 1-1 is a little bit safe, and I just can't see how there's not going to be more than 2 goals. But yeah, that's what I'm going with. That is what I'm going to go with. I'm going to go with a 2-2 draw. But yeah, I mean, I'd expect Ollie Watkins to score. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. But I'm going Desmond for this game. Well, look, no more than he already is. I don't really know if anyone actually expects Chelsea to go and win this game. That's kind of the sad reality now. That actually, I don't think any Chelsea fans are expecting us to go here and win the match. That's just where we are right now. But look, I think maybe we could hope for the best. I'm not sure what we're going to do, but yeah, that's the team that I'd pick. To be honest, I actually don't envisage it being that different from Poch. I think the only change might be Disasi at right back with Chalobah in the middle. But other than that, with the options that are available, that's pretty much going to be the team. I mean, the only thing you could say, which is a slightly rogue shout, and a few times people have mentioned it in the chat, is playing Casadei as a 10 and Palmer on the right, and then one of Mudryk or Madueke doesn't play. But the fact that Casadei's barely featured, to then just chuck him in to start against Aston Villa, yeah, it doesn't really make sense to me, that one. So yeah, let's wait and see, guys. Let's wait and see. Let's wait and see. I don't know, but yeah, I mean, whoever's at right back is going to have a problem. I mean, Chalobah maybe less problems, but when you're up against a Diaby or a Leon Bailey or Morgan Rogers, who's been brilliant, yeah, it is going to be tough. That's the team that I'm going with, though, guys. And I don't think it'll be much different, as I said, from Poch. So if you're watching, then yeah, pick this team. I think this is the best chance you've got of winning the game. And to be honest, there's not really anyone else knocking about anyway. I mean, John Duran, I don't think he'll start. He might play. He might come on, I'm sure. Well, let's wait and see. The last we schooled Emery in the FA Cup. You know, we schooled him there. So maybe we can do it again. Maybe we can do it again. And let's see. Do you think we'll be able to react in terms of morale from Arsenal? That's the big question. I hope so, but I can't. Yeah, he did. Rogers is a top player, by the way. Good mates with Cole Palmer. He does the cold celebration as well. Hopefully, we're not seeing that from him tomorrow. But yeah, good player, Morgan Rogers. Good player. But yeah, guys, I think what we need to do tomorrow, really important before I round out. A reaction is needed. A reaction is needed. Do not start the game sloppy. Do not start the game sloppy. We need a reaction. Keep things tight and compact. Play ourselves in. Don't let the occasion get the better of us. Villa Park's going to be bouncing. You know, they're getting very close now to Champions League qualification. You know, all we can do is control what we can do. Make sure your passes aren't sloppy. Make sure you're you're aware of what's going on. Don't play players into trouble. If you need to get rid of it, get rid of it. You know, we just got to do the basics. Revert back to doing the basics well, and then let's go from there and let's see what happens. We do have quality in the final third. We will create chances. Can we score them? That's another question. But the most important thing is that we keep things tight at the other end. And if you do that, then you give yourself half a chance in games. Having to score 2 or 3 goals to get a point or win a game is not sustainable. And that's what's been going on for the last few games. So keep it tight, keep it compact. Everyone do their job. Everyone make sure you're picking up a man. All the basics that you're taught at like a very low level football. But yeah, it feels like that's what we need right now. That's what we need right now. Would be absolutely devastated. Don't even want to think about it. It's not going to happen. Yeah, it's tough right now. It is tough. But yeah, guys, let's hope we can do something tomorrow evening. I don't know what it's going to be, but let's hope we can do something. Anyway, thanks for tuning in as always. Big yourselves up. Enjoy your Friday, guys. I'll be back with a matchday vlog from Villa Park, dropping after the game tomorrow. Make sure you check it out. In the meantime, guys, enjoy your evening. Smash the likes on the way out. Make sure you're hitting that thumbs up button on the way out. Make sure you're hitting the subscribe button as well on your way out, as I head ever closer to 9,000 subscribers. Every new subscriber helps. So run the likes up on the way out. Enjoy the rest of your evening. Thanks for the support as always, guys. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for getting your comments in. And yeah, let's hope it's a good day from Villa Park. Stay tuned for the vlog on Saturday. Match reaction Sunday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Up the Chelsea and peace out, people.